What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Jeremy Duchesne here. I want to talk about all the hype pertaining to real estate investment on social media and the internet right now. There's so many gurus that are showing their massive real estate portfolios, all this construction and renovation, all this passive income. But the thing is that not a lot of people are talking about how to actually get started with your portfolio. I've been asked so many times, Jeremy, how do I get started in what should I consider in order to be able to get started in investing in real estate? And the truth is, it's different for everybody. So my goal with this video is to go over 3 main topics that you guys can start to consider when you're building out your real estate portfolio. So with that being said, I'll give you guys a little bit of background from me. I'm not claiming to be some massive real estate investor. I do have a lot of different ventures that I do. However, I have been able to acquire over $3 million of real estate assets in Canada and the US. I've done that through fix and flips, BRRRR methods. I've done buy and holds. I've purchased apartment buildings. So I feel like I have a really good spectrum of what it looks like on a number of different facets to be able to provide some value for you guys today. So with that being said, I'm gonna go into the video and cover 3 main points. Number 1, if you have an asset right now, or rather a liability like a home, or maybe you're renting, how to go about renting a room and creating a little bit more passive income so that offsets some of your costs. Number 2, what to consider when you're purchasing your first real estate property. And number 3, how to be completely passive in the real estate game, utilizing REITs and private lending. Okay, so number 1, renting a room. Pretty self-explanatory. Whether you own your own home or you're renting, if you have an available room, that's an opportunity to turn the liability, something that's costing you money, into an asset. There's a few different vehicles that you can do this. I love Airbnb. For myself personally, I've actually demonstrated and utilized Airbnb many times to be able to do short-term rentals. I love Airbnb because it's a popular platform. They do a lot of the vetting of the tenants for you and the qualification. They have massive following and everybody utilizes the platform. So it's really easy to keep consistent renters coming in for that available room. Also, it's nice because you're not fixed into anything long-term. There's no lease agreement. And if anything happens, you can go back to Airbnb and get it solved. Other way is that you can do more of a long-term thing where you have a tenant that signed a lease agreement with you, and that's more consistent for you from a planning standpoint because now you have a locked-in rental agreement where you know that you're going to be getting a specific amount of money each month. Now the nice part about that is it turns your liability, like I mentioned at the beginning, into an asset from one capacity or another. Maybe it's fully covering the rent and or the mortgage payment or a portion of it. Either way, you can utilize that savings to be able to put forth towards the savings account for your next property and your next real estate investment. So number 2, investing into your first real estate property. Now, I always tell people that are considering investing in their first real estate property to identify where it is that you want to invest in. And that's really important for a few fundamentals because you want to reverse engineer where it is that you're targeting in terms of investing. And I always say you want to be an expert in the area that you're investing in, so that you know the demographic, you know the area, and you know what to expect and what type of strategy to use. So have a look at where you'd like to invest. And the thing is it will help you determine how much money you're going to be able to, or you're going to need in order to invest in that particular area. And that will help you also guide your decision. And or maybe you had an idea of where you were going to invest, but maybe you can't afford it and maybe you have to switch it up. It'll also help you start to identify where you're going to need to build out your core team. And that's something that I'll talk in another video because it's super important to have your core team, your power team with real estate investing. But for right now, look at where you want to invest in. What's something that's drawn you to that? Is there large population growth? Is the vacancy rate low? How much is you're going to need for a down payment? And that will give you a great foundation to start with regards to actually considering purchasing your first real estate investment. That'll help you also determine what strategy you're going to use. Are you going to use a BRRRR method? Are you going to do a fix and flip? Or maybe you're going to wholesale? Who knows? The opportunity is endless. That's what I love, why I love real estate, because you can get super creative no matter where you're at in your own personal journey. And number 3 I mentioned is REITs, real estate investment trusts and or private lending. Full disclosure, I'm not actually invested in real estate trusts because I like to be a lot more hands-on. I really am passionate about this topic. However, if you're somebody that is focused on your business or your job or your family and you want something that's completely passive, REITs are a great way to invest because they produce a nice dividend for you. Oftentimes, REITs are made up of cash flowing assets, commercial, residential, buildings, office space, and you get that dividend payout and it's super passive and you don't have to worry about it. Another way is private lending. I love private lending. I've done it many times and I've leveraged a lot of OPM, other people's money and credit to be able to make the difference between the interest rate and the interest rate that I'm charging to loan out the money. And again, I will create another video for that because that's where my bread and butter is. But private lending is a great way to be completely passive and in a position where you don't have to deal with anything other than getting your paycheck on a monthly, semi-monthly, or yearly basis from people that you're investing with. Super awesome. Highly recommend it to be a part of your portfolio. So with that being said, I hope this brought some value to you. I will definitely delve into a lot of the topics that I talked about today in a more granular fashion. But I think the biggest focus for you in this video is getting started. Start to educate yourself on where you want to invest and what strategy you want to use. Get a coach if you need to, a mentor, somebody that's already in the space doing it, and then take the first step. Don't worry about steps 7 and 8. Focus on getting your first deal. Get in the game and you'll never lose. I often say the best time to buy was yesterday, the next best time to buy is today. Don't try to time the markets. Just make sure that you're covering your bases in terms of your analytics and making sure that the property cash flows and that you can force appreciate and you'll be absolutely fine. Now, with that being said, if you're somebody that already invests, I would love for you to drop in the comments, what did you utilize in your first strategy, your first purchase of your investment property that had you succeed? And I'm sure the people watching this that are considering getting started will benefit too. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.